Well, Australia's had an opening problem for a while. Today, India had a closing problem. They couldn't close the openers out. 193-run partnership that Aaron Finch and Usman Khawaja put up in Ranchi, and that has taken them to a score above 300. That means that 313 for 5 in their allocated 50 overs. Khawaja, of course, getting a century, and Finch, oh, so close. We'll be talking about that in detail, of course. Yes, we will. Many things to discuss there. Hi, you're watching Cricbuzz Live. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, of course, I've got Ajay, Jadeja and Zaheer Khan here with me. Gentlemen, should we address the elephant in the room? No, sir. Court na banda karo. Not talking about you, love. The Aaron Finch dismissal. Please, in 100 words or less, discuss.
Look, the decision was right. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that decision because, you know, the only problem is the Hawkeye, and people who support Hawkeye and are believers of Hawkeye would probably their eyes would open today. But sir, it's always been the case. I think Hawkeye, and we keep, as we watch it together and we keep seeing it, it goes a lot in the favor of what the umpire has done. Because I think it's the ICC who decides the umpires need to have a certain number of correctness, whether they get success rate and all. So a lot depends on that, and a lot of people I don't think even know that it is technology till the ball strikes the person. After that, it's a manual thing. So the ball goes wherever. See, that's the information I have. I may be totally wrong because, you know, I don't run Hawkeye, but it's almost been imposed on a lot of broadcasters around the world, and you saw the proof today. Because, you know, unfortunately for the Hawkeye system, you saw them show the ball move.
You saw behind the curtain today.
Yeah, no, and in the same frame, they showed the ball coming, which pitched somewhere else, and then the tracking came, which pitched somewhere else. That was still okay because, you know, that could be a mat that has been put on a different side. Yeah. But I think the biggest blunder came out when the ball spun the other way. So, you know, I've never been a fan of either DRS or the Hawkeye. I'm an old-timer. I've always believed in the umpire's decision should be the final. He may get it wrong many a times, and I've repeated this many a times. And because, you know, maybe I wasn't like this, but since I've been a father, I look at it differently. Every kid who starts playing cricket, no matter where you are in the world, the first umpire that you have is either your father or an elder brother or an uncle who lives next door, and you were always taught this. You know, once the umpire gives a decision, you've got to accept it and move on with it. But now when you're playing in a little park and you see kids play, and somebody gives a decision, straight away the kid goes like this. Yeah. And that is, you know, changing the basis of this sport. And that's why I've been against the DRS.
Great point.
But there are people who believe that if there is technology, why don't you use it? So for all of them, I think it's an eye-opener today. Yeah. It's a sport. It is a sport. You cannot get 100% right.
Yeah.
Even Virat Kohli doesn't get 100 every innings, although he might get one today.
Yeah, well, I mean, then I want to ask Zach, today, did Hawkeye become Cockeye?
Clearly. Everyone noticed that. Okay. But when you look at the decision, and you might say that, okay, the decision wouldn't have changed. But the umpire's call in that stage would have saved the review for Australia.
Yeah.
And they would have been able to use that review in case of Hanscom.
Correct.
Which, had he taken that review, would have been a not out. So that's the debate. And if the technology is not foolproof, and umpire's call, or you say that, like, you know, it has to be more than 50%. If the error of this kind is there, then how are you going to trust that 50%, whether the ball is pitched in line or no, or those kind of decisions, whether the ball is hitting 50% or more than 50%. So how can they be so sure about that and not so sure about this?
Yeah, there's questions today. There's definitely questions with just that, you know how they say a magician never shows their tricks and you never look behind the curtain of what's happening. And today it's been that. It's been a restaurant that you've been eating at and you suddenly peeked inside the kitchen and you went, whoa, hang on a second. Is that a rat I see running around, right? So that has happened today. So it's shaken a few people, DRS believers and the ones who don't believe in it. So there's going to be a lot of debate about this for a while. But just to close the debate, I want to say when I was a kid playing cricket and my brother was the umpire, I did have a DRS. Mummy! Mummy, look!
Yeah, but
Decision reverse.
नहीं, but मम्मी ने क्या बोलना था? तुम्हारे बड़े भाई ने जो बोला है, उनकी बात सुनो.
That's right.
So that is the basic of
I
decision making at home.
I was always the favorite kid, so it helped a little.
It's a call you make.
No, you're absolutely.
No,
Listen, you're absolutely right. The point of yours I love is that don't let children who are getting into the basics of the game, don't let them question one of the most basic principles, which is
of this sport.
umpire's decisions.
And there's
Fine.
one more thing. If you think logically, how many people play this game around the world? Or say, just pick India. How many people play? Hundreds and thousands and millions, whatever number each one thinks they do. How many people have the opportunity to play with so many cameras and Hawkeye and third umpire?
Yeah.
So 99.999% of people who play this sport do not play with that rule.
Correct.
It is almost a basic of this sport.
Yeah.
And there are not many games in the world where you had umpires. If you actually go deeper into sport, every other sport you have referees.
Yeah.
What does a referee do? You don't appeal to the referee. A referee gives a decision.
Yeah.
There are only few sports. Cricket is only one of them, and probably golf, and I'm not 100% sure, but maybe another sport where the decision is, you always ask for a decision.
Yeah.
There's a question that you put, and an umpire gives a decision. So other sports are different. Yes, you can use it in other sport, but there is no referee in this sport. The umpire was the sole custodian of this sport till he said play starts. The play didn't start. He decided whether you can be on the field or off the field. I think this started few years ago, starting with match referees. You wanted people, like in government, once a politician gets is not useful anymore, you send them as a governor somewhere.
Yeah.
That is what match referees were, according to me, and that's how it all started.
Yeah. Okay, well, so this of course we've spoken in depth about how that partnership ended or how Finch went. Let's also talk about what he did when he was there. And today, as cricket fans, and I'm sure Australian fans are really happy, they would, Zach, be delighted to see this almost 200 opening stand.
Well, he himself will be relieved.
Yeah,
He's
Finch.
And
Khwaja, maiden century for him.
He looked threatening today. Once he's seen that first spell off.
And he got very
He was the one who
there was a lot of shots that hit the bowler, the wicket, he should have had a few more runs there.
But he put the pressure and set the tone for the Australian innings. Yes, and that helped Khwaja as well score that 100 because when you have someone like that putting the pressure on bowler, your job at the other end, which is Khwaja, was getting easier.
Yeah.
Because when bowlers are under pressure, you will find them not really hitting those lengths. He was able to rotate the strike because of that, and because of Finch, I would say that Khwaja was able to reach to the maiden century mark, which we've been seeing that he was getting start but not able to convert it.
Yeah.
So when you have someone batting along with you and taking you through, it always helps. And I think Finch was the one who put the pressure on the bowlers, resulted in Khwaja's 100.
After that 193 run opening partnership, do you think Australia would be slightly disappointed that this 313 is not 325, 330?
Yeah, they would be from that stage, because at over number 35, they were 208. At that stage, they would have liked at least about 20 more. I would
They
say
were 239 for 2 in the 39th.
I think, and the way
I got another 100 at that stage.
They
right?
should have. I think they lost their
11
way
overs.
with. What happens is when you have certain players in your side, you need to use them. So Sean Marsh, who's actually a solid player and holds the innings together, we talked about him in the morning. I said the pace at which he plays, I probably don't enjoy him in the shorter format. But so he was sent in ahead of quite a few players, whether Carey, whether it is Stoinis, who's batting beautifully. So I think those 20 runs that they are short, if they had carried on with strikers, because what they did wonderfully at number 3 was to send in Maxwell. So Maxwell came in and took the pressure away from Khwaja as well when he was getting closer to 100. So you got to keep the momentum going.
Above Marsh, right?
No, and not just in numbers. I'm saying because today was an opportunity that you had. You were dominating the game. You dominated with the first partnership. Then you send in Maxwell, who had great success. It was unfortunate for Australia that he got run out. But so the momentum stopped there. Then that's when Marsh got out and Khwaja gets out. And both the guys, then wickets fall and then you slow down. And that's why they probably ended up 20.
But a guy like Stoinis, he's in such good form. He's a hard hitter. This was the ideal opportunity, Zach, to empower him. When you come out in the 39th, You've got 11 overs to play ahead of you, and you've got a platform behind you. Go have fun, kid.
But at 15 overs to go, 35th over mark, 208, you would expect minimum 100 runs scored from there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens. But today, Australia has to settle for the minimum runs scored.
Yeah.
From the position of strength.
Yeah, you're right. That's the minimum that you'd want to get. Correct.
We're talking about 120, 130.
Yeah.
If Maxwell and Stoinis both had an impact in those last 15 overs, probably 140 runs also, and we would have been saying that Indian bowlers, tough day, things were not easy. But what happened? I think today we are sitting in mid-innings and talking about how Indian bowlers have held their nerves. They stayed in the game. This momentum will help Indian batting as well.
Yeah.
Because now suddenly, instead of looking at 330, 340, you're talking about, modern day cricket, 50 overs, you get a good start, you have partnerships, someone seeing the innings through, you can get it.
Yeah.
And with this Indian batting lineup, they've done it in the past. They have the confidence of scoring 300 runs regularly. So that's something which Australian bowlers are going to feel pressure of when they go in. So in a way, job very well done from Australian batsmen, but maybe
not finished
properly.
Yeah, and
maybe a learning there, because the kind of wicket there is. As the ball gets older, I think it's getting scruffier as well on that pitch. So when you're chasing, if you leave too many for the last 10, 15, you may also struggle.
Oh, good point. So the markers you're setting,
because fast bowlers, and Zach made a very pertinent point in our combox when we were in 35th over, that this wicket, actually when the seamers are bowling, it's much more difficult to get them away, especially if you bowl stump to stump.
Yeah.
And that's because the ball, once it gets old, it's getting scruffier and it doesn't have that bounce. So there's not much, you can't pull many balls, so it keeps low. If you keep it stump to stump towards the end of the innings, it could be a problem as well, and maybe that's another reason there could be 20 short.
Who was the standout bowler for you from the Indian effort? I know Kuldeep got the wickets, of course, but otherwise, and we all like looking at bowling as not just that wickets column, but who's really troubling the batsman with his line and length. So for you, who was?
Shami was good. I think he was going very well in the first spell till he got hit with the ball.
Yeah, that's a bad one. Huh?
But this is ideal kind of wicket for Shami. You can bowl wicket to wicket. That's what we are talking about. That wicket is suiting that kind of bowling.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how the Australians go about how they approach the bowling. But I think on the whole, if dew is not a big factor, if dew is a factor, all the effect what we're talking about, the wicket being slow side, the ball gripping, all these effects will be nullified. And if that effect is nullified, then Australians will be thinking, we should have got those 20-25 run cushion which we are unable to get.
Yeah, because Virat mentioned at the toss that the reason why he wanted to chase is because dew will come in later, and that was a little strange for me to think that Ranchi has that much dew. I don't know. You've played there, so does it?
I've not played there.
Oh, you've not even IPL,
No.
Nothing.
I think one-off game somewhere.
Okay.
We'll have
So
to ask
I've been
Abhijit.
there for 2 games, so I'm more experienced in Ranchi than you are.
What is Ranchi like?
There's a little bit of dew, just a little bit. Can't quantify that, right? You're just sort of from this. I am doing what Ajay does when we ask him to guess the score. Right?
Yes, because it's the same. I mean, how do you know what the temperature is? Because for dew to be there or not, there are many things that you got to look
It's
at.
36 degrees.
So
With
temperature.
74% humidity.
So-
I'm making those numbers up completely.
But add a very important parameter. The most important one is if it's a cloudy evening, you
Yeah.
never get dew down. So is it cloudy or not? Is it?
See,
Hang on, just let me tell you this
cricketers are no scientists.
Yeah.
They practiced yesterday. They saw the dew. They saw the timing.
Simple.
There will be dew.
There will be dew. If he has come today, he will come tomorrow also. You never know, might be dew's day off today, right? So there is dew, but you never know. All right, well,
No, and last night actually, weren't they at dinner at MS's place?
Yeah.
So did they look
That was
at
the
the
night before last,
So
yeah.
the lawn at home and the pitch or the ground where you have 50,000 people and the lights are 2 different places. So maybe the dew was at the lawn at home and maybe not at the
good
ground.
point.
So it could be. So many things happen. That's why you've got to be on the field to see all
The
this.
barbecue was taking longer to cook because of the dew on the coals. So that's how they said. I think we should be chasing here. Well, it is quite a daunting task. It's 314 runs to get. And, Australia's done a lot of things today that they haven't done before, especially their opening partnership. This, I think, is one of the highest partnerships in like a year and a half, right? Since the beginning of 2018.
They were averaging like 7 point something till last game.
Yeah, so they've really, there you go, that 193 run partnership at a run a ball is really good. And this augurs well for, does it look like Usman is playing right-handed in this picture?
Reverse sweep.
Either it's a reverse sweep or a mirror image.
And he played a couple of really good reverse sweeps. I mean, he should have been caught way early. I mean, first over of Ravindra, the catch was dropped.
Fielding was a bit off today, on the whole.
Yeah.
Except Jadeja.
The ground fielding, you understand, because it looked like the ground is not even, because we've seen a couple of incidences.
Yeah.
I know it's Ranchi and it's MS's home ground.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be very good. Yes, it is. The ground is very good. The stadium is very nice. But
just because they were in army,
there was the field was looking uneven a bit.
Yeah.
But the catching, the field doesn't come into play, so the catches must have been taken. Yeah.
Yeah, but very impressed with that sliding effort by Ambati Raidu towards the end. I think Ambati Raidu is also just sort of, must have gone, listen, man, there's this Vijay Shankar young dude around, slipping and sliding in the outfield. Let me just show people I'm still around. Yeah, so he did that.
The important day for him. He'll get an opportunity today. Because to get to 300, even if 1 and 3 get runs, you'll need 4, 5, 6 also
we
to add.
We need 2 to get runs as well. I mean, Shikhar Dhawan needs to get runs today.
And you can see it in the other side. I mean, there's 2 guys at the top get almost 190 plus. Still, they don't get to 313 easily. You needed a couple of knocks, and if you miss out, and not very often does it happen that both the guys get 100, 1 and 2 and 3. So, Raidu will have a lot to do, not just slide in the outfield, but get some runs as well today.
Yeah, but India's batting really deep, so that's one advantage, of course. We've got Ravindra Jadeja coming in at 8, slated to come in at 8. So if India can take it, as Zach is saying, don't take it too deep with too much left. But of course, when you have a guy like Ravindra Jadeja with his triple centuries in domestic cricket playing at 8, you've got proper batsmen up till number 8. Okay, now we need to have an uncomfortable conversation. It's about contracts.
Oh, why is it uncomfortable?
Not your contracts.
We've been sacked.
You've been zacked. It's not your contracts. It's the BCCI contracts for the cricketers. We've got this list. It was announced last night, and we must discuss it. Must discuss it as much for the inclusions, as for the omissions, as for the rungs up, the promotion, the rung down. Can we just put that up? This is going to be, so there you go, grade A. Okay, no question. Grade A plus, of course, no question. If these 3 students were in your class, they would get an A plus. Yes, absolutely, without a doubt. Move to grade A. That's one below that. Big one there. A big list. You've got Rishabh Pant. I think the one you want to look at here is that Rishabh Pant's sudden elevation into that, jumps straight in. And of course, you have pretty much usual suspects there, except that Shikhar Dhawan has moved on from A plus to here. I guess not playing Test cricket. I don't know what it is, but Bhuvi, anything you want to comment on here, gentlemen?
See, moving from one category to another, it's all fine.
Yeah.
We are sitting in March right now.
Yeah.
March has already started. The contract term is from October to 2019, end of September.
Yeah.
That is gone. So, as there has to be some kind of transparency, or you change the date of the contracts.
Yeah.
That's something, because if someone has performed well in the last 6 months, obviously as selectors you will get influenced. True. That is something which I'm seeing here. I don't want to name it because all these categories and gradation and all that, you don't have to get into it. But there are certain players who have missed out as well.
Yeah. There's some retrospective reward.
There has to be some logic which is transparent for everyone.
Yeah, and quantifiable.
And more importantly for the players. It's fine as viewers, you can look at the list and you say, oh, this guy has gone up, this guy has gone down. But players need to understand what is it going to take for me to go from C to A plus.
Such a good point.
So that's something which I'm not sure if it's been established as yet, because you don't know when the contract term is starting. You don't know whether you are going to get a contract.
Yeah.
and if more than half the year is done, then what's the point of, what are you creating in terms of incentive for the players?
True.
How am I going to motivate myself from a C category to be in A plus, or from any category to any category, whether it's promotion or demotion?
Yeah.
So that's
and
something
clearly
which
it's not,
needs to be
listen, it's
established
not about
for-
the money, because it really is not. It's just the whole idea of going, okay, suddenly it's the worth, right? Suddenly I'm not worth as much as I was, irrespective of, it's great that there's money in the game. People work very hard. 25 people playing cricket for India in 1.5 billion people, so have to be, of course, rewarded. Highest watched sport in the world, you might say. But that is such a valid point, because a human being is still a human being, right? You still feel that, just hang on, has my value eroded, and what do I have to do to prove that worth again? We have some more bits of the list that are still left, and let's see if there's anything glaring that pops out there. It'll probably be more of the same, right? But you see Murli Vijay. Now, is this, when he looks at this, he goes, is this a sign that, okay, that it's done for me, right? Is Test cricket done for me now?
See, because the point which I was trying to make, October 2018.
Because if
Would
you're not
you
in
have-
September,
Would you have given a contract to Murli Vijay or no?
Yes, you would have.
Because he was part of the England tour.
Yeah.
After that, he was part of Australia tour as well. Then, if he was part of the Australia tour, that means, if the contract has been announced on 1st of October, he would have been part of the contract.
Yep.
Because it's announced in March, maybe that's the reason so the time has influenced the decision which you made for the backdated contracts.
Yeah.
And I think that's something which probably not accepted. It's not accepted as a viewer also seeing it, or for the players. Murli Vijay must be thinking the same thing. And again, I'm not getting into the names. It doesn't matter. There can be different examples as well.
Yeah.
Hardik's case. On October 1st, Hardik would have got A or A plus. Today he's in B.
Yeah.
So what is the explanation for that? I think there are a few names who will have their stories. I've just taken a couple of names. There are a few players who are not part of the contracted, who've been part of the team.
Fair.
And if you get technical, I think if you play a certain number of games, then you automatically get a contract.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's, these are the things which have not been communicated.
I didn't read them right, because I saw Siddharth Paul play for India a few days ago, didn't he?
Yes.
He's not even in the list. So if you play for India, you may not have a contract. How does it work?
So if you play a certain number of games, you are
I thought even if you play one game,
getting
you are
a
under the
C-grade
contract.
Yeah.
No? Even if you play one game, say
You
when
just default.
so when you get selected for
So
India,
it's, I think, number of. So I'll have to see the
we'll
the
check that.
Fine print.
technical point on that. But I think if you play one test, then you automatically get it. If you play 3 ODIs, then you automatically get it, and there is certain number of T20s as well.
so guys who play,
Krunal has played enough T20s, hasn't
yeah.
he?
So say somebody who plays just one game, he's not under the contract of BCCI. I'm just trying to understand. I mean,
No, we should, because Krunal's played 9 T20s in the last few months.
And so this part I don't have any idea, but I was wondering how is the GST going to work, because these guys is
He's got the GST.
Listen, if you are going to get paid somewhere, you have to file every month when you raise your bill. This contract is from October, and the March year ending is finishing. So BCCI can have their own rules, but you can't be above the country's law.
Sir, you have to raise your invoice on the 1st of April.
Yeah.
And then you get paid, and
So
then you...
no, the contract period is from October to October.
Yeah, but it's when
It
you raise your
overlaps.
invoice. So I'll tell you this, with
Yeah.
GST, what all you get to learn here? So when you raise the invoice,
Yeah.
you have to pay the GST in the next cycle, where
Yes.
it's payable.
Yeah.
The point is, no one has raised an invoice so far because you didn't know how much you were getting paid. You were just playing in good faith.
So that's
whether
why
you
I announced
get-
the contracts in the first month.
So that's
Or
because
change the date, or just do it financially.
Today, by the way, everybody is giving their match fee, right? So it's a good thing this got announced yesterday, because otherwise no one would have known really. Can I give it? I don't know how much I'm going to get paid. Do I have a contract? I'm going to buy myself food, man. What am I going to do? Yes, so many things. But GST, it's a great point. GST is payable when you raise the invoice in the next cycle. So all the players, we'll call them. We'll tell them. 1st April, raise your invoice, right? We'll do that.
And please explain to me, someone, how does Mahendra Singh Dhoni's value go down?
Sir, Mahendra Singh Dhoni's value never goes down.
No, but I'm saying that's the thing. So why all of us cricketers get upset with the owners of IPL. You know, when some player gets less and play, and we all of us.
In fact, that's less to get upset about because that's all who you're up against. It's free market economy.
And I'm presuming here the contracts are being decided by our selectors or people who are in the cricketing committee or people who are cricketers, and they are the ones putting their minds and brains together and creating this system. So, you know, there's a simple thing. It doesn't look like there is any cricketing thought in that, because otherwise you would not have this graded system. All your life you will keep hearing, we are a team sport, everybody's contribution is equal, you know, even if you're not playing, you are part of the team, you play an important role, but you've led India for 10, 15 years, oh no, but now you're not useful anymore. You are not captain, you will only make decisions standing behind the wickets, but your price is down. So I think this whole graded system is a pretty
great point.
Rubbish system, and I feel all our boys are underpaid.
I'll tell you one thing. Today in the show, we've had a lot of good questions that have got thrown up, right? We've given you a few options of the answers. We don't know the answers ourselves, and we'd like for you to weigh in on them as well. So on Twitter, #Cricbuzz Live, talk about the DRS and the Hawkeye point that we brought up. Talk about the contract point that we just brought up. Just talk about anything. I want to listen to you. So please talk to me. Talk to me. Right now, we're going to talk about the Indian batting and the Australian bowling. Let's talk about the Australian bowling because we did have a chat about the batting. Who have they got? They've not got Coutinho, remember. Coutinho has flown back to Australia to be with his family. And you have Jai Richardson, who's coming into the team. He did trouble India a little bit in Australia. He tickled, I can say tickled. There's Nathan Lyon and Adam Zampa. After looking at the way the pitch is played in the first half, Zach, straight up, good decision for them to play both?
I think one more would have been even more handy.
Oh, yes, they go for three.
Yeah, because
they don't have a third. So Glenn Maxwell could come in for a few
someone
overs.
Like
third seamer.
Third seamer. Yes, sorry. I was talking about Lyon and Zampa. Oh, okay. So you were talking about playing another seamer.
Yeah.
All right.
Because the wicket is not assisting spinners that much.
So you'd see Stoinis getting more overs, perhaps.
Yes. So that's something which you'll see. And Jai Richardson's style is to rely too much on the outswingers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's a good option on this, or the wicket is suited for that kind of bowling. It's on the slower side as well. So that's something which is going to a certain degree nullify Pat Cummins' sting as well. So that's something which we'll have to wait and see. If Rohit is set, you know what he can do. Again, 1, 2, 3 is going to matter a lot. Yeah. You know that especially when it's 300 plus, you need a good start. On the whole, I think with India's batting lineup, a couple of partnerships, they will be giving themselves probably the best chance to win this match.
Get it done. I just want to, before we go, I just want to say, in far as the guessing game was concerned, Australia's total
313.
Is the winner here?
Yeah.
Is he here?
Always.
Is he here?
No, you also have to decide that how many runs you can be far off from.
25.
Why? Like contracts explain why.
No explanation. Even like with BCCI, he has also no explanation.
Dictat given, sir. Dictat given. Now that's because
take it or leave it.
No, the difference has to be 10.
So I was because I was about 22 runs off. So that's why.
Okay.
So I said 291. So I was 22 runs off. So that's why I quickly said 25. But we'll make another rule for this. That's good. We will. So 10-run delta between all the guesses and a maximum swing of 10 runs allowed.
Perfect.
From what it is. See, we're making our own league here. By the time we finish, we may just end up with our own league. All right. Ajay, quick last word before we go. You're backing India to get this 314?
Yeah, I think India would get it. It might get a little tricky, but India should still get it. If they had another seamer, like Zach said, it probably would have been tougher.
Okay. Opening partnership guess now. Opening partnership. They got 193. How much is Shikhar and Rohit going to get? I'll start
minimum 80.
80. Well done. Zach?
From India's point of view, as much as possible. So 150 will be just ideal, isn't
150 is what you seem to be guessing, right? We're guessing. 109 is what I say. 109 run opening partnership. So we've got a big spread today, right?
You covered all bases. 25 here, 25 there.
10, 10. We've changed it to 10 now. 10. All right, well, we're just having a bit of fun, and we hope that the Indian batsmen have a bit of fun, because if India is to win the series 3-0, then I'm sure we'll get to see a few changes and a few combinations and a few more of our favorite players playing in the next few games. Could be, could be not. I don't know, but there's still, this chase to get. 314 for India to get. We will come back, of course, at the end of the 15th over with Sri Lankan Airlines and Visit Melbourne present Cricbuzz Combox. Did I say that okay, brother?
Perfect.
Because he's taken over now, right?
Yeah.
Will you let me come?
Yeah, please do.
Can I? Okay.
I felt the pressure.
All right, he's letting me come. There are a few places that I can handle pressure a little better than him, and that's when, taking sponsor names and introducing things and stuff. That's all I can do. I'm Sideshow Bob. I just say it and walk away, and then Zach will speak for the rest. We'll see you at the end of the 15th over. All right, thanks for watching Cricbuzz Live. Bye.